Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, how y'all doing out there tonight? I am so happy to be back with you guys. You know, I miss it when we're not talking. Now, I may, it hasn't been quite as confirmed as I'd like, have a special surprise for you guys tonight. Oh yeah. You know me, I'm always up to something. Now, before we get into the news, I'm going to make a couple of announcements. KLRN Radio will be doing live election coverage tomorrow night from 7 p.m. I have a number of people lined up. We may even open a phone line or two. Can't promise anything. I'll let you know. Alright, now that out of the way. Because if you turn on a TV, a radio, or any source of news in this country today, you are hearing one thing, and one thing only. Election, election, and by the way, election. Alright. That's not cool. I am sick of hearing about this election. Personally, I voted by absentee a month ago. Yes, a month ago. I wish there was some kind of filter I could say, once you turn in your ballot, you could have some kind of ad block for all the political stuff. Trust me. I'm done with it. Alright. I've got a little something special for you guys. And you know, I normally don't play a lot of music on my show, do I? Oh, that's providing I can get it loaded. It's being curmudgeon-y. Give me just a minute. There we go. I had multiple copies. Always got to have a backup plan. Alright. I am going to play something that I think this entire country needs to remember. And I think this country needs to hear. With that note...
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to our acoustic version of the Star Spangled Banner here on KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran down, the bombs bursting in air, getting proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the
I've got a major buzz on your line. Give me a second. I'm getting nothing but buzz.
I'll try you back.
Please. Alright, you just heard a little bit of live producing on the air that I couldn't have planned if I'd wanted to. That was my special surprise. Hopefully he'll call right back. Now, in the meantime, I have decided tonight to cover some U.S. news. Because you can't find any. You just can't find any out there today. So I know I don't normally do U.S. news. But I am tonight. Now I'm going to ask you to bear with me for just a moment while I see if I can get my special guest back on.
Hello.
Rio, this is Jessie. How you doing? We are live. I do want to let you know I called you while I was live.
Oh, we're doing great. How are you guys?
Well, when you first called in and I couldn't hear you, literally, it was 2 seconds after I finished playing the your acoustic version of the Star Spangled Banner. I couldn't have timed that if I'd tried.
Wow, nice.
So
I'll take that. That's awesome.
Oh, it's about the 8th time it's run on the station today.
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah, we've been.
Thank you guys for supporting.
Always, always, and for my listeners who don't know who you are, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Rio Height. I'm the vocalist for the band Madison Rising.
And Madison Rising is
America's most patriotic rock band.
All right. Now, I normally save this till the end of the show, but since you're here, well, we'll hold it on. How long can you hang out with me, Rio?
I've got a good 15 minutes or so.
All right. Well, in 10 minutes we'll do it. The Department of Defense released the names of the 3 casualties killed in Jordan, and I always honor them by reading their names and playing taps on my show.
Please do.
And so we'll do it right before you go. How's that?
That sounds fantastic.
So I've already got taps all queued up. So I was just telling my listeners that I don't normally cover any U.S. news on my show. But I felt like if I didn't cover it today, there wouldn't be any except election, 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 election.
And that's what seems like, that's going to dominate just about anything today, that's for sure.
Well, thankfully, I don't have to stick with the norm. And I don't
That's right.
always. That's the awesome thing about being my own show host. No, but literally, you were calling in just as the last notes of the Star Spangled Banner were dying out.
I think my it must have been because my ears were burning. I must have felt like somebody was playing some of our music.
Oh, well, I do that all the time. Here's an oldie. It's just a little section of it, but... You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. I don't have Dangerous queued up tonight. I do have it. I sometimes play a snippet of it, but I don't have it queued up tonight.
Oh, that's all right. I can tell you this. That one gets played a lot still. We still play that when we hit the stage, and a lot of people still love it. And it's a fun one to play. I enjoy singing it.
Well, my listeners hear it every time I go to commercial and at the end of my show. So my listeners get a snippet of that every time they turn around.
Oh, that's so awesome to hear people supporting us. We have a great fan base. We have a very loyal fan base, and it's just amazing to have that kind of grouping and that followership. They're crazy, and we love all the crazies.
I know you've got some KLRN radio listeners that and hosts for that matter that are huge fans. Huge fans. So
well, I'm glad that we do. I'm glad to be a part of it. Being able to sit back and spend some time with you guys and talk about some, the topics of the day. That's real special. I know tomorrow that I'll be calling in and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on throughout the day, and some of the election type stuff. So it's going to be
exactly
going to be exciting.
Now, I know where you were earlier today, but is that something you want to reveal to my listeners? Not yet.
Go ahead and tell them what.
Not yet, or might as well tell them what you're up to, or what you're up to.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
go ahead. I'll let you drop it.
I was going to say, I believe you were in a recording studio today or tomorrow, one of the 2 days, and you were working on a new Madison Rising album.
We are definitely working on a new album coming out. We were sitting around today talking about trying to come up with, I guess, the name of the album and the overall direction. We kind of took a look at the way the new tracks are kind of presenting themselves and being put together. And with that being said, they have it has a certain kind of flow. And it's really a look inside the psyche of a veteran, a psyche of those that support that veteran. So it's going to be a little bit different than what most people are used to as far as Madison Rising goes. We've always been to the point exactly if what we want to say. If we're talking about the Second Amendment, such as the song "Right to Bear." We're going to let you know what we're talking about. Soldiers of America, it's going to be exactly that. And this time I think we're breaking and cracking the surface a little bit with some more look into the thought processes of what goes on inside the mind, the feelings that generate and emanate from the heart, and how each of those plays on the veteran or the veteran's family and supporter. So it's going to be quite an interesting album, and as a fan of Madison Rising and a fan of rock and roll, it's going to be a really substantial piece of work, and I'm excited to get it finished and out to you guys.
Well, what do you want to bet? I'll have it on my phone or my iPod within an hour of me knowing that it's out there?
I can tell you what, it's going to be awesome to have, the thought of people. It's a pretty anticipated album. There's a lot of people chomping at the bit to get the new music. They want to hear what I bring to the table, and then the creative, the process, the way that we're creating. Not so much a new sound, because Madison Rising has always had a really great sound, but just the way we put things together so that we can dive deeper into, the mental makeup. And I've always said, once you lay down your foundation, you can only lay that foundation, one time. You don't redo the foundation. You don't. So once that foundation is there, you have to explore different ways to build upon that foundation. And I think this is what the new album's going to be doing. It's going to allow people to take the lyrics, apply it to different situations and times in their lives. A veteran who's deployed, he or she's going to be able to see that, the songs that are talking about that kind of going away or coming home or that kind of lost feeling, they'll be able to identify with it right away. And then, for those who are not familiar with Madison Rising, it's going to be fun to find out what they believe those lyrics are talking about. When you get the proverbial, hey, what does this song mean? Or can you tell me what that song means? And really, it's kind of cliche for the person who writes the lyrics to say, what does it mean to you? That's the important thing. But right now, it's really, we're on the cusp of being able to release something that we can say, what does it mean to you? And that's what's going to be a fun ride from here on out.
Well, I know another one of our hosts who happens to be a huge Madison Rising fan, G, although he goes by the name of Grouchy on air. He's spotted that you're on with me, and he's going, oh my gosh, when do I get to have him on my show? I just replied to his message going, we'll work on it. Down.
Yeah, seriously, we love it. We want to become, partners with you guys and be here a lot and let everybody get to know us really well as we get to know them. And I might have a little surprise that we talked earlier about tomorrow.
Yes.
And I've got a couple of the other bandmates that are saying, hey, I want to call in, I want to talk, and
no problem.
I want to tell them our thoughts. And I'm like, hey, that'd be fantastic. What if we just pass the baton around?
That'd be awesome.
And talk about what's going on tomorrow.
That would be awesome. And I think our fans on KLRN Radio would absolutely love it and get a chance to meet each of the band members a little bit and get to know you guys a little bit better. So, like I said, we have a very conservative base, and I think that's how come KLRN Radio and Madison Rising kind of almost go hand in hand. And we have a number of, like I said, hosts and fans of yours that are regular listeners, in a couple of cases, we've got a couple of our listeners that are actually also regular guests on shows, that kind of thing. Because we have no problem saying, hey, you're an avid fan, you obviously have a lot to say, why don't you come on the show?
Oh, that's awesome. That's how we want to do just that. We want to build when people come out to see us, and a lot of them are taken aback that we're so available. We make ourselves from the start of the show. We'll have our prep time, and we had to do our mental, I guess it's our mental drills in order to get ready for the show and really put on the best show we can play for you guys. But as soon as we hit the stage, and a lot of times, sometimes before the show, we're out and about with the crowd, but we hit the stage, we put on a kick-ass show, and then when we come off the stage, we make ourselves available until the last possible moment. And a lot of times that's closing time. We want to make sure that people have access to us. We want to make sure that we not just make fans, but you're part of the family, the extended family at that point, and welcome you right into the Madison Rising Militia. And it's a lot of fun getting to know the stories behind the person that walks in that door. They think it's which is baffling to me. It's still kind of it's kind of hard to get used to, is that people will spend money to come and see you perform, and then they think that you're a celebrity of some type, and we kind of laugh that off because we just happen to have a great job, a job that we love. And the second part of it is we're just like everybody else, and as great as it might seem for some people to meet us, which is kind of crazy, it's probably better for us on our side to get to meet you guys, because there's so, the stories that you really get to learn about and hear from these people's mouths. It's, you could write a book and it would just be a page turner, because there are some just incredible stories that, of what they've gone through, of what they've seen, friends that they've lost, and then people, they never want to tell the good things that they've done, but then their friends will tell them about how they saved them, or, had some kind words that picked them up in a time of need. And it's just, it's just an incredible opportunity to meet the fans. And we try to stay there as long as we can. We try to stay there and make ourselves available as much as we possibly can in order to get not only these stories, but to make sure that people know that we care about them. We really give a damn. I've been involved with several bands in the past. A couple of them have, had the opportunity to tour. We've had some, gigs on the road, and we got to meet people. But Madison Rising is just special. It's not just about the music, although the music is a huge part of it. It's about the community itself, and the support that we try to give as much as we can, and everybody else is supportive of those in the community, and then learning about their stories. It's just an incredible, every part of it is just incredible.
Well, I can tell you,
amazing.
I'm one of those crazy fans. You'd been in my local area, but I was out of town on work. And I set myself a goal. I was going to see a Madison Rising show by the end of the year. And this was 2015, and my husband was deployed at the time. It's like, I want to go to a Madison Rising concert. Period. End of discussion. So I went through, and I picked one out. And the one I picked was in Pennsylvania. And I think it was at Allentown, but don't quote me. It was somewhere in that vicinity anyway.
Okay.
And it was a benefit concert to help build a home for one of our heroes who'd lost both his legs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so I flew up to Pennsylvania, rented a car, had already purchased my VIP ticket, went to the show, and flew home the next day.
Now, that's a true fan. That's a true fan.
I'm a little bit nutty about that.
The most important part of that, you got to see us, but the most important part of that is that you went to something that helped somebody out, helped a veteran. And that's you kill two birds with one stone.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't know if you've ever checked out my bio on Twitter or Facebook, but your music has touched me more ways than I care to mention and more times than I care to mention. And not only am I an active duty service member's wife, and my regular listeners will already know this, I'm a Gold Star. My first husband was killed in action. I'm a Gold Star Special Forces widow.
So when you hear something like that, you really don't know what to say. And
I'm a tough cookie. It takes me a lot to crumble. So, but that's why when there's I follow the DoD casualty notifications quite closely on defense.gov, and every time there's a loss, I'll pull the list and I'll read the names on air on my show, and then I'll honor them with taps. I've tried doing the 21 gun salute, but it just doesn't sound right on air.
Right.
A recording of it never comes across right, so I've settled on taps. So
and that's good. You get to the point where you really don't know what to say. For me as a combat veteran myself, is you have that. I don't know if this is even going to come across correctly or not, or if it's just going to sound something just less of callous, I guess, maybe, is as a combat vet, you dream from a little kid, really, to go out in a blaze of glory, in some way, and you have that beautiful death. And for me, when I hear that, I thank you for the sacrifice and for the support that you've given. And then I'm envious of those who've gone in that manner, like my death at some point will be, for, now that I'm retired, it'll be for, some other reason than what I would rather it be. I would want to go in fighting. That's how I've always wanted to go, and I think a warrior really wants to. And we're kind of envious that we, and jealous, because in my position, I'll never get to have that. But I thank you for the sacrifice. I thank your husband for his sacrifice. And, rest easy and feast well, and I'll see you in the halls, my brother.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm one of those crazy Army spouses. I was up at 4:30 this morning so I could get my act together and get up to my husband's unit because they're in the field right now just doing a training exercise. But I'm an FRG leader, so I like to do little things for them even when they're just in the field. Now, when they're deployed, my house looks like Care Package Central. But so I got up at 4:30 this morning, drove up to his unit to make sure that his commander got a bucket of sunflower seeds to take out to the troops. No joke.
I'll tell you what, you don't know how valuable that bucket of sunflower seeds really is.
Yeah, I do. Trust me. When I get the hugs when they come back and they see me standing there going, sitting there going, okay, guys, or the morning they left out, I got up extra early, made 24 breakfast burritos. Now, we were selling those to raise money for FRG for the holiday party, but I also had a table that we weren't selling that was all baked goods. Those were free for the taking. So I see the smiles and the hugs, and I had the hot coffee there, and
That's awesome.
Like I said, I do what I can, even when they're at home. All right, since we are coming up on we're actually a little bit past the bottom of the hour. Why don't I read these 3 names, and we'll do taps, and I'm sure you've got somewhere to be, although I'd love to keep you around as long as you want to talk.
Well, I know that we'll definitely be checking in tomorrow, so all you listeners out there, make sure that you come on in the evening to get a taste of what's going on and our thoughts about the day's activity, the election, and how it's going and how it, it's looking at that point. And, you'll be able to talk to myself. I think Sammy will be popping in. Maybe AJ will be popping in as well. So you'll get to talk to a few of us, and it's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow. And for these guys who sacrificed. Will
you hang with me until I get these names read, tap started, and then I will go to commercial break right after that, and I have a feeling I'm going to need to get you a couple more call-in numbers for tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
All right. The Department of Defense announced today the death of 3 soldiers who were supporting Operation Inherent Resolve. They died November 4th in Jafar, Jordan, of wounds sustained when their convoy came under fire entering a Jordanian military base. The incident is under investigation. The soldiers were assigned to 5th Special Forces Group Airborne, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. They were Staff Sergeant Matthew C. Llewellyn, 27, of Lawrence, Kansas. Staff Sergeant Kevin J. McEnroe, 30, of Tucson, Arizona. And Staff Sergeant James F. Moriarty, 27, of Kerrville, Texas. I thank you all for your patriotism and your sacrifice for this country. We're going to take our commercial break now. I will see you guys on the other side.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country needing you right now, but I don't wanna.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while I paid them bills. How was that for a surprise? And by the way, they haven't formally released that version of the Star Spangled Banner yet. We got it first. Yeah, we got it first. I thought it was awesome of Rio to agree to call in tonight. Alright, I do want to actually get to a little bit of news today. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff arrived in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia today for meetings with the national security and military officials. Marine Corps General Dunford is scheduled to meet with Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Nayef. The general and his counterpart, Saudi Army General Abu bin Salah Al Banaim, will meet with Defense Ministry and Interior Ministry officials. Before this, the general will meet with U.S. Ambassador Joseph Westphal. Dunford will discuss issues of mutual concern and listen to the Saudis' take on operations in the region. Officials said this is also expected to discuss Iran's maligned influence on the region and operations against Daesh. Saudi Arabia is a close ally of the United States in a very troubled part of the world. The kingdom has the largest and best equipped military force in the region. The U.S. military has excellent military-to-military relations with the Saudi military. Although this is his first visit to Saudi Arabia as Joint Chiefs, Chairman Dunford has met with Saudi officials during his term. Most recently, during a meeting of Chiefs of Defense from 43 nations at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland in October to discuss operations to defeat violent extremism. Mikhail Savalsky, the former Georgian president who became governor of Ukraine's Odessa region, announced Monday that he is resigning in frustration at what he characterized as obstruction in efforts to root out corruption. Saakashvili was appointed governor of the corruption-riddled Black Sea region in May 2015 by President Petro Poroshenko, but in his resignation announcement in Odessa, Saakashvili accused Poroshenko of supporting criminal clans in Odessa. Saakashvili did not just hand in a resignation letter. In fact, he announced his resignation in a video posted on his Facebook page, saying he felt cheated and tired. We are witnessing retrograde forces attacking everything progressive, he said. We are seeing new beginnings nipped in the bud. Poroshenko has made Ukraine's integration with the European Union a priority, but endemic corruption throughout the country impedes that policy. Alright, here's a little U.S. news. And I actually have an audio clip for this one. The man who walked into a Los Angeles International Airport and opened fire with an assault rifle in 2013, killing a security screener and wounding 3 other people, was sentenced on Monday to spend the rest of his life in prison. Addressing the court before sentencing, Paul Anthony Sianka, 26, said he had become suicidal in the months before the shooting spree and decided to attack the U.S. Transportation Security Administration in a final lethal fit of rage. I knew exactly how I was going to die. I was going to take up arms against my government. Although Sianka apologized for harm he caused to James Spear, a school teacher wounded in the attack, he expressed no remorse for the slain TSA agent Gerardo Hernandez or either of the other 2 SA officers who were hit by gunfire and survived. Sianka, who pleaded guilty to murder of a federal officer and 10 other criminal counts in September, was sentenced to life plus 60 years in prison. There is no parole in the federal prison system. And here's the audio clip.
The gunman who killed a federal security officer and wounded 3 other people during a rampage at Los Angeles International Airport has shown no remorse and clings to the beliefs that led to the violence in 2013.
All right. Save that one for the end. I am flipping through my stories because I lost some of the time, so I've got to pull a few out. So I'm deciding which ones to pull and which ones to keep right as we go. We are almost out of time, believe it or not, folks. I will give up time for Rio of Madison Rising or any of the band members anytime. Israel rejects Middle East Peace Conference in Paris. Israel on Monday formally rejected France's invitation to take part in a Middle East Peace Conference in Paris later this year, saying it was a distraction from the goal of direct negotiations with the Palestinians. At a meeting in Jerusalem, Israel's acting national security advisor and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's diplomatic advisor, French envoy Pierre Vimont, was informed that Israel wanted nothing to do with the effort to revive talks that last broke down in 2014. They told the French envoy in a clear and unequivocal manner that Israel's position to promote the peace process and reach an agreement will only come through direct negotiations between Israel and Palestinian Authority. According to the statement released from Netanyahu's office, there was no immediate comment from Vimont, but the French Foreign Ministry said it still planned to hold the conference before the end of the year. France has repeatedly tried to bring new life into the peace process this year, holding preliminary conference in June where the United Nations, European Union, United States, and major Arab countries gathered to discuss proposals without the Israelis or Palestinians present. No offense, guys, that's spinning your wheels. Alright, this looks like all prepped for tomorrow. Yes, I prepped for election night. You got to. Already read that one. Sorry, I'm having to do this on the fly. Got another one for you. Philadelphia transit strike has come to an end prior to Election Day.
Philadelphia's crippling week-long transit strike ended early Monday, ensuring that all buses, trolleys, and subways will be up and running by Election Day. Just before dawn, the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority and the union representing about 4,700 transit workers were able to come to a tentative agreement. On Sunday, the city and state both intervened in an effort to bring the walkout to an end. The state announced it would join SEPTA in court to permanently end the strike, citing the impact public transit has on the elderly, the disabled, students, and the state's economy. SEPTA chairman Pasquale Dion stated that the agreement reached provides wage increases and pension improvements and maintains health care coverage levels while addressing rising costs.
All right, and I do have the article pulled up on that. The strike had caused serious traffic backups in Philadelphia's areas, morning and evening rush hours, a drop in attendance at the city's high school because there's some 90,000 rides a day, and I'm looking to see if they have the number of school kids. They don't have it in this article. I've heard it several times, but a lot of school children actually take public transportation. All right, so that's a little U.S. news. I've got two more. Give me a moment. Like I said, I am covering, I normally don't cover U.S. news. But I felt that U.S. news today was just as scarce as international news is normally. Investigators are looking for more bodies on the property of an alleged serial killer in South Carolina. Todd Colehep is charged with killing four people more than a decade ago. He may be linked to at least 3 other murders. Colehep was arrested Thursday after investigators discovered a woman chained on his property in Woodruff. We spoke with the sheriff, who tells us that the alleged killer asked to see his mother, then led the investigators to his property and showed them where he had buried 2 bodies. One grave had been found, and investigators expect to unearth the second one on Monday. let's take a listen to the news clip.
CBSNews.com is reporting that another body has been recovered on the South Carolina property of Todd Kohlhepp. Last Thursday, the suspected serial killer was taken into custody after a missing woman, Kayla Brown, was found alive and chained inside a metal container on Kohlhepp's property. Investigators say that Kohlhepp led them to the location of 2 grave sites on the Woodruff property after his arrest for Brown's kidnapping. Brown's boyfriend Charlie Carver's body was found on the property, bringing the number of bodies buried on the nearly 100-acre lot to 3. Carver was with Kayla when she vanished in late August.
Alright, and I've got 2 more stories. And like I said, I only have 2 about the election. All right. Here's a good one. From Infinity and Beyond, he found a way to vote. Shane Kimbrough, a NASA astronaut currently living on board the International Space Station, filed his absentee ballot in Tuesday's presidential election. NASA told Yahoo News that Kimbrough filed his ballot in the 2016 election from the space station sometime over the past few days. For astronauts who will be spending space in Election Day, the voting process starts a year before launch. At that time, they're able to select the elections in which they wish to participate. Then 6 months before the election, astronauts are provided with the form, voter registration, absentee ballot request, federal postcard application. NASA astronaut David Wolf was the first American to vote in space while on the Russian Mir space station in 1997 local election. I'm looking for the audio clip. I have a full soundboard tonight.
NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough is currently the sole American off the planet. Kimbrough launched into space on October 19th and cast his vote sometime over the past few days. Before he left Earth, Kimbrough told reporters that he is pretty much apolitical, but that he was excited to be able to say, "I voted from space." A 1997 Texas law gave astronauts the ability to vote while they're on a space mission. If an election is scheduled to take place during their mission, before launch, the astronaut will choose which local, state, and federal elections they would like to vote in. Mission Control in Houston then sends a secure electronic ballot from the county clerk to the space station. The astronaut records their vote and sends it back. If Kimbrough can cast his vote from space, we on Earth have no excuse not to head to the polls on Tuesday.
Like I said, that is about as political as I care to get. I have one more story. And we may be pulling taps out again one more time. Wayne Menard knew at an early age he wanted to be a soldier. He joined the Army at 17 after persuading his mother to sign his enlistment papers. His family thought he would go on to build a lifelong career in the military, but his career as a corporal in North Korea lasted only 2 years. Menard was reported missing in action on November 26, 1950. The day after Chinese Communist troops attacked United Nations forces near the Changchon River in North Korea, according to the Pentagon. Menard's unit was later ordered to withdraw. The farm boy from rural Kansas, then 19, was never seen or heard from again. He was taken to a prison camp and starved. On February 16, 1951, Army Corporal Wayne Menard died, according to Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. Now, after 65 years, Menard is finally coming home. His remains will arrive in Wichita on Wednesday. Menard's loved ones had always thought he would never be found. But his family saw a sliver of hope in spring 2005 when an Army recovery team learned of a North Korean burial site that contained the remains of an American soldier. Scientists had to obtain DNA samples from two of Menard's sisters. It would take another 11 years for his remains to be positively identified. DNA tests also showed that about 32 other people, including 2 soldiers from Menard's unit, had been buried at that site. Menard's death haunted his family for decades. His mother, Bertha, never stopped blaming herself for signing her son's enlistment papers. She died 9 months after her son did. They say she died of a broken heart. According to the Pentagon, Menard was a member of Company C, 1st Battalion, 9th Infantry Regiment, 2nd Infantry Division, fighting units of the Chinese People Volunteer Forces, when enemy forces launched a large-scale attack with heavy artillery and mortar fire on November 25, 1990. He was reported missing in action the following day. But his name did not appear on any POW list provided by the CPVF or North Korean People's Army. However, 2 repatriated American prisoners of war reported that Menard died at Hafong Camp, part of Bukchin Triangle Camp Cluster, on February 16, 1951. The Military Review Board amended Menard's status to deceased in 1951. The Pentagon said Stubbs, who was born 14 years after Menard died, knows about his great-uncle only through stories he heard from family members. Even in war, his great-uncle kept a sense of humor, Stubbs said. After he was shot in the hand during a firefight, Menard wrote his family and joked that the enemies weren't very good shots. The Army was going to bring Menard home after he was injured, but he opted to stay with his unit in North Korea. Menard had a twin brother, Dwayne. The 2 were the youngest of 9 children. They were good, fun-loving farm kids who loved to play practical jokes on their father. Stubbs said they used to set up a bucket of water above the garage door so the water would fall on their father's head every time he drove the tractor back into the garage. Menard will be buried with full military honors on Saturday in the unincorporated community of Furley, Kansas, where he grew up. And on that note, And on that note, folks, I'm out of here. No shout. But I am going to tell everyone within the sound of my voice, if you have not already voted in an early voting procedure or cast an absentee ballot, please do go vote. I do believe in voting because the men and women of the United States Armed Forces died for your right to cast that ballot.